Hi, this is Julie with Beadaholique, and today I'm going to show you how to incorporate buttons with glass shanks into your bead embroidery. There are so many beautiful buttons out there, and they're lovely. They're one of my favorite things, but they can be a little challenging trying to figure out how you're going to work them into your embroidery, because if you've done a lot of bead embroidery, you're probably familiar with that you'll need a flat surface like a cabochon has, where it's completely flat, whereas buttons are not. You can see that. So we need to remedy that. We need to somehow either set them down into our foundation. I have Lacy's stiff stuff right here, or I need to build it up. So I'm going to show you two ways of doing this. And I think they're the two easiest ways. There are other possibilities out there, but this will give you a really good start. So first off, what we're not going to do, we're not going to try to cut that shank. It is glass, it will shatter. You can injure yourself, you might actually crack the entire button. If you're using antique or vintage buttons, you definitely don't want to risk that. So the first way, which is actually my favorite way, is to set the button down into the foundation itself. And the way you're going to do that is I'm going to snip a little piece. So let's say I was making a focal pendant and I wanted about that much around my centerpiece. And I would center it, so I'm going to make a little mark in the center. And then here's a really handy trick, but I'm going to give you a warning too. So I have a thread zapper. You're probably used to using this to burn your threads to really easily cut them. And here I have an older one, which I no longer wanted to use for my threads, so I wasn't too concerned if the tip got all gunky. And look what the thread zapper does to Lacy's stiff stuff. It's pretty cool. I'm going to make a hole about the size of my shank right in the middle of my foundation. And I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to press the on button for my thread zapper, and it just actually cuts right through the foundation. Now it does gunk up the tip a little bit, so you want to use an older one, the one that you won't mind if the tip gets gunky, but it is a great little handy trick. And then you just take the button, you put it right down in the hole. You'll see it comes out the other side, and look what happens. You now have a flat surface to bead embroider around, so it's not going to wobble, it's on there, and you're ready to go. Now when you go ahead and apply your backing, a couple options. You can make another little piece like this, another little donut, and put it right under there as well, so you're getting a little closer to a flat surface on the back. And then when you put your ultra suede backing, you can feel a little bit of a nub, but you can't feel too much, and if you stitched around it, it would be fine. So if this was done for a pendant or even a ring at this point, you could put a ring finding on there. So that's one option. If you're not concerned about that little nub, you can just go ahead and put the foundation right on it. You can see there's a little bulge, but it's not bad and it would still be comfortable to wear. So this is my favorite way, and I would just apply some E6000 glue all the way around the base here, and then just stick it in there, and you're ready to start bead embroidering. So that is one way. I want to show you another way. You're going to want to use an air dry clay. I have crystal clay here. You don't need to bake it. It dries on its own. You can also use other air dry clay products. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to mix up a little bit. Now this is crystal clay, so with it, it's a 2-part epoxy clay. So you need equal parts of part A and part B. There we go. And with this, if you are using crystal clay, we have videos on how to use crystal clay, how to mix it up, and basically it's just equal parts and you mix until all striations are gone. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do here. So I'm just going to mix it up for a couple minutes. Okay. All right, my crystal clay is all mixed up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it out to a tube shape. And again, any air dry clay will work for this. And I'm using white just because it's going to be easiest to show against this black background on the video, but you might want to use a matching color, or you can even paint it after it's done. So I've rolled it out. And now I'm basically going to just go around the shank, making a donut. I don't want too much. I'm just going to pinch off any excess. You'll see I'm basically just building up that backside so that my clay is level with the very top part of the glass shank. And what I would do now is I would let this fully cure overnight, and then when I'm ready to go ahead and put it onto my foundation, I would just glue it as if it was a solid piece, as if it was one cabochon. And now I would do a row or some type of stitch to cover that, and then progress with my bead embroidery however I want to do the rest of my project. If you're not using crystal clay is great because it adheres to all surfaces, so I don't need to glue this in place. If you're using just a regular air dry clay, you might need to glue the clay itself to the button, and then you'll glue that whole piece to your foundation. And then you have a nice flat back and you're ready to go and use this like any other focal piece. So I hope that gave you a couple different ideas of how you can incorporate these beautiful glass buttons into your bead embroidery. And don't worry too much about that shank. There are ways of getting around it and still being able to use them in your work.